Hey everybody, and welcome back to Grounds Family Farm. The time is finally here that we have packed up and left the farm. The Okie Homesteading Expo is just about to begin, and we are headed that way. And if you can see behind us, we've got a truck full of suitcases. The girls are packed away back there somewhere, and we're pulling a trailer.
Yeah.
We told y'all we had a neat surprise for y'all that we're going to reveal to y'all later, and it's not quite time to reveal it yet, but just know we've got something in that trailer that is going to be at the expo, so be sure to come by and check it out.
Yeah.
Lots of fun. Like I said, we still got a little bit. Vendors will start getting here tomorrow, and then Friday, this thing is going to kick off, and we cannot wait.
I know, it's exciting.
It's hard to believe it's been a year since the last one, but
I know.
the weather is going to be nicer for the expo. It turned off cold today, and there's dust storms and everything rolling in, but so far, so good. We are still got a little ways to get there, but we're super excited and just can't wait to share it all with y'all.
Yep, and get to see our friends and have a good time.
Yep. So stick around and see what all there is to see at the expo.
Yep.
All right, so we just dropped off the trailer at Gary and Cassie Walker's house, Walker Farm Fam. And it's gonna be here for a little bit, and still not telling you what's in it yet, but you can see the dogs over there checking it out. They're just not real sure about what's going on right now.
Super exciting. You're going to stick around to find out. Okay, sorry if it's a little windy, but we're fixing to let you know what we brought in the trailer. We brought this little guy. He's actually going to be part of the butchering demo at the Okie Homesteading Expo. It's going to be done by Brandon Sheard, the farmstead meatsmith. Really excited to see that. We're going to get to see what the process is like and actually get to take some of the meat home. So that ought to be some really good meat, and looking forward to it. So we were thrilled to be able to have the opportunity to supply that for the expo so everybody can learn some stuff and we can contribute our part. So stick around, you get to see some more of that. So it was super late when we got home last night, but that's the secret we've been keeping from y'all. We had the honor of supplying the pig that Brandon Sheard, the farmstead meatsmith, got to butcher for his demonstration at the expo. Fixing to show you a few clips from the expo that we took about some of the speakers and the vendors and all that good stuff. And then at the end, we'll let you know what our experience was like, what all we did, and our takeaways from the expo this year.
But there are some chicken breeds that are sexed when they're little by color and different things like that. So if you want to be for sure, maybe just go with that one. If you see them advertised as eating eggs, then more than likely that hen wasn't with a rooster, so you wouldn't be able to hatch them. But I haven't had time to do it, but I'm going to go buy some eggs from the store and try to hatch them, because people tell me, is it Costco's, that you can get their organic or free range or something, and people have been hatching them. So I want to try it. If you live in town and they say that you can't have a rooster, you don't need a rooster if you only want hens, because roosters are loud and annoying and all that. So if you have chickens in your yard, most people won't even know until maybe they're laying an egg and they sing that egg laying song. Some of them can be a little more dramatic than others.
I met some folks that got a booth here. It's under the windshield wipers at church, people like that. Anyway, so I said I was Patrick Jones. I think I remembered that right. I've been a veterinarian for over 30 years, but I'm also a naturopath. So I have we had a vet practice for the dogs. If your dog, go to that building. If you're sick as a dog, you go to the other building, and we'll straighten you out one or the other. But because of the veterinary practice, I've had the opportunity as an herbalist to do anything I want with herbs, right? So I got an expensive piece of paper hanging on the wall that says I can do whatever I want with your dog, right? So we've had a lot of experience with some things that a lot of herbalists haven't been able to play with. I learned a lot of things, especially about emergency care and about veterinary medicine and first aid. Also, if anybody's taking pharmaceuticals, we want to be real careful, because sometimes the herbs and drugs don't play well together. Sometimes they play too well together, right? Now you got too much of a good thing. Also, we're going to be talking about some wounds and things, and just be careful.
Yeah, so that's number one. But then the other thing is, as long as you can afford to keep them around, because there's no such thing as like, oh, that cow is too old. That doesn't happen. The most delicious beef you'll ever have is your 14-year-old bull or dairy cow that you retire. That is the most flavorful beef. All that happens when they live longer is they develop rich flavor, and fat. They get more marbling by a lot. It's exponential. That happens with any animal, sheep or goats, as they age. You just get better. Yeah.
My name is Clyde, and I've developed a really handy slide chart for vegetable gardeners. Let me show you how it works. So the chart operates off the average frost date, and it represents that with a red line. And you slide that red line on a horizontal calendar to your local frost date, wherever you live. If you're up in Wisconsin, you can slide it to June. If you're down in Louisiana, you can slide it to February. Here, where we are right now in Oklahoma, it's in April. Once it's in place, each column is a week, and it gives you the first outdoor planting week for each garden vegetable. Starting with things like peas and onions and spinach, they plant ahead of the frost, but waiting on the frost tender items like peppers and tomatoes till it's safe to put them outside. And by safe, what I mean is I incorporated the frost-free date so that when you put your tender items outside, they have a 90% chance of succeeding. There's only 10% chance of frost after the frost-free date. So the chart also gives you the indoor seeding dates, so you can save money by doing your own seedlings. You know, if you go to a box store, you might even pay $5
Yes.
for one tomato plant, and you can buy a whole packet and
Yes.
grow 30 tomato plants for $5
Yes.
by using this schedule for planting. Okay, the check marks here give you the expected harvest dates, and that's a good tool for planning your trips in the summertime. And then if you look at this, it's a time-based plan, and you can use it from left to right, and it's set up and designed so it's incremental. You can do your garden in small steps each week, so you don't have to do your garden all at one time. You can do it in small steps, and this will keep you right up to date and in pace with the way it's supposed to be done. After that, this is a great quick reference because you can pull it open and it gives you the seeds per 10-foot row, the planting depth, the distance between rows, and the distance between plants so you don't get them too congested, the sunlight requirements. And you know, a lot of us have areas in our lawn where we get half sun. Well, these partial sun items will grow in that, and you'll avoid putting the full sun items in the shaded area.
Yes.
This is the minimum soil temperature for germination. You go to the Walmart or somewhere and buy a $2 thermometer, put it in the ground right at sunset, about that deep. And if the soil is colder than this, you wait another week before you put your seeds in. That way, you're not going to waste your seeds where they got spoiled, especially if it rained after you put them in and got wet. You know?
Yes.
They'll germinate better if you wait till above that temperature.
Wonderful.
This is the expected yield. So say that your family wants to grow 80 pounds of green beans. Well, how many rows do we put in? Well, it's 20 pounds per 10-foot row. That's what you're going to get. Last thing on here is the natural companions. When you plant these with those, they nourish one another under the ground. It's companion planting. It's a very inexpensive way. Let me make that so you can see it better. It's an inexpensive way to fertilize. And companion planting, and we're learning about that. Lots of people are learning about that. Now, this is the spring side of the chart, and about 2 out of 10 people, gardeners, do a fall garden. You can be one of the 2 out of 10 with my chart. You flip it over and notice the fall color and slide it to your fall frost date, and there's the last planting week to have a nice fall garden.
It's wonderful.
And when you use the chart, you can pull out the QR code right here, and it will take you directly to a 4-minute video demo, maybe reminded how to use the chart while you're having a cup of coffee or whatever your favorite drink is.
Yes.
And the chart comes with instructions. And on the back of the instructions are the frost dates for the United States and Canada. So you can look your own frost date up, but you can also get a chart and send it to your sister in Seattle, or your brother in Boston, or your friend in Florida, or your cousin in Canada, or your lover in Louisiana. And so it's useful all over the country.
Yes.
You know, I was really just trying to plan my own garden, and my wife was pregnant, and so I put a line in for the baby and a line in for the frost, and I listed it, and I thought, gee, I've never seen this before in any book.
Yeah.
So I copyrighted it, and now I've sold 500,000 of them.
Oh, wow.
And people are using them all over the country, and I'm getting notes in the mail that they liked it. It's really helping them. So it was a tool for me, but it's turned out to be a tool for other people. I think I better just thank the Lord that He allowed me to think of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Okay, and would you like some advice for some of your gardeners?
Absolutely. We have a lot of people who like to garden.
I'll
so.
give you 3 advices, okay?
Okay.
Getting started. Number 1, when you're doing a garden, you're going to bring in, once you get done, you're going to bring in $3,000 or $4,000 worth of tax-free income. So even if you have setbacks, it's still worth working at it to overcome the setbacks and get to the position where you can provide for yourself with this. During the war, they had the Victory Gardens. Okay, the Victory Gardens produced 40% of the produce in our country. Do you know that?
I've heard that actually.
That's amazing.
Yes, it is.
That kind of gives you an idea what you can do with your own garden at home.
Yeah.
Second thing is get a soil test done so that you don't do all this work and then find out that there wasn't enough nitrogen or
Yes,
potassium in
for
it.
sure.
And the extension offices will do a soil test for $20. You only need to do it once every 3 or 4 years. Okay. Then it'll tell you what to put in your soil to amend it. And then a third piece of advice, okay? When you're growing your veggies, grow something that you know your family likes to eat.
Yes.
At least in the beginning. You might start some experimenting later with black tomatoes and purple carrots, like you can get like at Baker Creek Seed Company or something. But first, grow the stuff the family will eat. Get your family involved in doing it with you. The children learn tons while they're out in the garden. And Dad, if you're at home doing the garden with them, okay, what's happening is you're spending quality time with them. You can invest your faith with them, okay? You can talk to them about things that you did right and wrong while you're spending time with them. They're learning and absorbing, especially the ages here, you know?
Yes.
So grow some stuff they like so that your family has a favorable impression of the garden and nobody's arguing that you brought in some food they didn't like.
Yes.
So she could have been over here helping you crochet. She likes to crochet.
Right? Well, you're the one that's doing the crochet? I started crocheting when I was 11 years old. This year I will be 52 years.
tell me what it was called again. Auricular therapy. Okay.
So as you can see, the expo was jam-packed with lots of fun stuff to do, a lot of knowledge was shared, and a lot of learning went on. Our experience actually started on Wednesday because Kimberly and I were able to head up early with the Eddies and a few others, and we went by and actually helped get things set up. We were able to set up some chairs, move some tables, hang some banners. I think she folded some shirts and organized those, and all the stuff that goes into getting things set up. Like the day before, we were there to be able to help. Now, the planning started months ago, so don't want to take away from that. We were just kind of helping put the final touches on before it got started up.
Okay, so Thursday was when our official shift actually started, and that was our job was to do vendor check-in that morning until 2 o'clock. There were a lot of vendors there that checked in. It started a little slow at first, but then once they started coming in, it was busy. So he was running all over the place. He was actually taking them to their spots, helping them find them and everything. And I was doing the check off on the sheet, handing them wristbands and all that other stuff that they needed, and answering questions to the best of my ability. Rachel was amazing because she kept coming out there and checking, and she was able to answer all the questions that I didn't have the answer to. And Brandy was around too, and they were both they were taking care of everything that we were not able to handle on our own.
They were running around like crazy to make sure this thing was going to go off smooth.
Yes. And then at 2 o'clock, our relief came, and that was Nick and Zoe with Chestnut Hills Farmstead. They actually came a little early, along with Nico and Natalie from Our Brown Farmhouse. So we all got to talk and visit, and when he was having to go and run and show people where they needed to go and stuff, Zoe came over, and she was helping me dig through stuff and hand people their things. And then Nick he ran and started helping take people to their spots too, because the afternoon got a lot busier. At 2 o'clock, like I said, it was over, so we went and we found other things to do, because an event this big, there is always something to be done. And we wanted to make sure we could help in any capacity that they could use us in. I mean, they were having to put up a tent for the Farmstead Meatsmith. We were
getting stuff ready for parking, because barricade stuff had to be put up, so we were trying to figure out the logistics on that.
Yes.
Because Brandon is the one who usually handles most of that, so I was helping him figure out what we were going to use, how we were going to get it done, because we knew that if we waited till the last minute, it would be crazy and there wouldn't be time to get it done.
Yeah. The girls, of course, were with us. And Thursday, since it was a pretty small crowd until the vendors started really getting there, and there were a lot of cars in and out, they were able to just kind of go all around, do whatever. And then, of course, they had their friends there, because the walkers showed up, so they got to play with Mazzy and Ransom. And they were just back and forth all over the place, and they were actually scoping out vendors on Thursday to see what they might want to buy. They already had a small list put together by the end of Thursday.
Yeah.
But we, Thursday afternoon, we'd actually kind of all made plans, and we went to eat at the Country Cottage for supper, which, as everybody knows, amazing. One of the best places to eat around whenever we're there, and we always have to go there. That was actually our second trip, because Wednesday night we went with Brandon and Stephanie and Ed Kirkpatrick.
Yep.
And we had a blast. It was, like I said, always good food, and there's different food each day. So it's not, some of the staples are there, but then, your meat and all that is always different. So it was really, really good.
Yes.
We enjoyed it, and everybody came away just thoroughly stuffed, because that was just such good food.
And then there was Friday.
Yep.
Our day, we woke up at 4:30. I think you might have got up at 4:15.
Yeah.
But I slept till 4:30. And we got up, got ready, left out, I think about 5:20 that morning, and headed over to start getting stuff set up, which Brandon and Stephanie actually left a few minutes ahead of us. But we got over there, loaded up Brandon's truck with barricades and caution tape and everything, got everything sectioned off the way it needed to be. Put parking lot bumpers down to divide the entrance into 2 lanes so we could make traffic flow a little better. It was really crazy because it was so busy on Friday. Friday felt like Saturday normally does, because usually Friday's a little slower because some people don't come in until the second day. But it was nuts. I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen that many people there on a Friday. It was crazy. So we were super busy. Everybody worked really well together getting things in. It was Me, Brandon, and then Nico was there, and then there were some other volunteers that were actually handing out the passes, but we were working the other part, and then Nick came up to help too, because like I said, it was nuts how many
Yeah.
cars were there. But between all of us, we were actually able to get the flow going. Nick and Brandon were trying to get them off the road so that we don't cause traffic congestion, and Nico and I were running the lanes up there, and then eventually I went down to help the ones that are handing out armbands. I mean, it was all hands on deck to get everybody in there, because like I said, the flow was crazy, but it was awesome to see that many people there.
Yeah, it really was.
Got to see a lot of subscribers. Since I was working the front part, I didn't actually get to catch all of your names. So if you did meet us, be sure to leave a comment down below and let us know that you met us there, so that we can go back and know. Because like I said, I had people that call me out by name whenever they go by, but like I said, the flow was going so much there wasn't time to just stop and talk, and it was a mess with that, and I hate that I didn't get to do that. I was able to find some of y'all a little later and visit a little more, but not everybody. So be sure and let us know who you were, because we love getting to meet y'all, and we were just so busy. We didn't get to spend more time with y'all, but it was a great time.
Yes.
So I had to leave from helping with the entry gate because Cassie had recruited me to help with her presentation. Ideal Poultry was supposed to be there, but with everything that's going on, they weren't going to be able to make it. So she was filling in for them. And their talk was something, since it was Ideal Poultry, was something about having their building your ideal flock. And so Lori from LG Homestead and I were giving Cassie a hard time before, saying she should do a joke and just start talking about sheep because it's a flock of sheep, and then be like, no, I'm just kidding, and then go into chickens. But I helped with that. She had a packed house. It was standing room only, and she's always a hoot to listen to. She says she's not an expert, but she knows more than what she lets on, so don't let her fool you.
I was in headquarters most of the morning on Friday because they needed a lot of help. And I mean, whenever shirts are on sale at the Okie Homestead Expo, they go fast. So we were constantly selling shirts and helping people find things and kind of letting them know the layout and all that good stuff. And it was definitely all hands on deck in there too. And we kept talking amongst ourselves about how busy it was. And it was just really, really exciting because, I mean, last year it was busy, but then this year it was even busier. I mean, it was just constant, just people, walking through. And then even, I mean, we figured most of the flow of traffic would be gone by, 9 o'clock when it actually, things kicked off and all that with the speakers. But no, people just kept coming. And I was like, this is amazing. This is so, so cool.
Well, I know we had people that were showing up, like the gates open at 7, but like the opening ceremony is not even until 8:30, and there were people that were there that early. Because like you'd think that early, most of them would be vendors, but we still had a lot of guests that were coming in super early too. Yeah. So the afternoon is when our actual shift started. We were the MC or speaker assistant, so if they needed help getting things set up before their presentations and stuff like that, we would help with that. I started out with the speakers panel where they had multiple speakers up there, and it's like a Q&A session where people got to ask questions of the speakers, and whoever had the most knowledge or wanted to have input on that, they would answer their questions. And that was really neat to have because there was a lot of knowledge sitting on that stage. After the speakers panel, I got to see Megan Height with Living the Height Life. She talked about meat rabbits and the different processes for that and raising meat rabbits. And then after that, I got to see Dr. Patrick Jones with the Homegrown Herbalist. He is very entertaining to listen to. Like I said, you would think a doctor would be dry and stuff. He was cracking jokes nonstop and had so much knowledge about different herbs and stuff. It was really great. I was glad I got to see that because what he was talking about was herbal first aid, and it was just really neat, all the different stuff that he had. It was really cool to get to see. Kimberly was on the west side, and she got to hear a bunch of great speakers as well.
I got to help and listen to Lorraine Gioc. She did one on canning, and that was really cool, and just her experience because she has canned for years and years and years. And whether you've canned, for a year or 10 years, you can always learn something new.
Yes.
And she was great. And she actually had different types of canners up there, and she went around and she answered a lot of different questions. And then she actually had a deal where if somebody wanted the notes from her presentation, because she didn't have quite enough copies because it was a packed house on that side, that she let them come to her booth and actually sign up to be able to be emailed those notes. So that was really cool too. And she did some giveaways. And then next was David Stelzer with Azure Standard. And
Oh, yeah,
he was really, really great to listen to. And just the amount of knowledge that he has on ancient grains and just everything. I mean, health and nutrition and the breakdown of everything is wonderful.
It's crazy how much stuff he can. I didn't get to hear him this year, but we talked to him out at his booth and
Yes.
stuff, and I heard him the year before. It's crazy how much he knows about all that stuff. And I mean, just from memory. I mean, of course, I guess he's
Yes.
lived it so long that
Yeah.
he just got it.
Yeah, he was amazing. And then we had a presentation from Nutrimil, and the two gentlemen that did that were amazing, and they were hilarious. Like they were just, going back and forth on the stage, but their knowledge was amazing as well, and they were talking about different ways to bake breads and how to mill your fresh grains and all that, and the importance of eating naturally versus, a lot of processed foods and all that. And I really, really got a lot out of that as well. And they had an amazing setup, and I tried to get a little bit of take a few pictures of their slides and that kind of thing because it was interesting information, but then also I got a handout from them afterwards as well.
So that brought Friday to a close, and then there was Saturday. Since Friday was so crazy, we had no idea what Saturday would bring. So we left out even earlier. I think we got on the road about 5:15, and Brandon, Nico, and I got out there early, got things set up to make 3 entry lanes so that we could keep traffic flowing. Nick came out there whenever traffic started coming in, and it took all 4 of us to keep it going. And then we had people hand out armbands. Thankfully, a lot of people were coming for a second day, so they already had their armbands, and we were able to get those people right on through. They knew how the process worked, so they just held up their armbands. When we saw those, we just pushed them on through, and they were able to go get parked and get in there to enjoy the festivities. I did that for a while, and then things kind of calmed down once everybody got in, and I was actually able to go to the Farmstead Meatsmith and watch some of the processing, get to see how he cured the meat and things like that. It was really neat to get to see that and how the new processes are so different than the old, and that's what he was really focused on is the old way of doing things. I think he's been to other countries and stuff and watched how learned how they've done it, and it's just really neat. And the neatest part was we got to bring that meat home. We did have somebody that was there that asked if they could buy some, and I was like, no, we're not going to sell any. But we ran into them a little bit later, and I was actually able to give them some to take home. They live in Northeast Texas, and so I hope they really get to enjoy that meat because, like I said, it was really neat to be able to see that whole process.
And it looked beautiful.
Yes.
I didn't actually watch the processing, but I got to see the results of it.
She got to help pack up the meat.
Yeah, and it looked beautiful. I mean, those slabs of bacon, wow.
Yes, and we did send some bacon home with Brandon, so
Yes.
hopefully he'll enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Because he put on a sugar and salt scrub, and it's got to sit in the fridge with that for like 5 days, and then you can wash and rinse it, and it is good to go. So I can't wait to try some of that.
So there was a little bit of confusion at first on if the Joel Salatin books were coming in or not for us to be able to sell in headquarters on Saturday. They did come in Friday, and somebody had to actually go get them. And so Saturday, as soon as they came in, we had people that were sitting there outside waiting. And as soon as we got them all sorted, because we made sure we had them in stacks, we made sure we had them out so that people could actually look through them and everything. As soon as we had them set out, people came and looked. And I mean, within like 2 minutes, we had our first sale. And people just kept coming by and just kept coming by. And it was crazy how quickly those books went, which, I mean, he's an amazing speaker. He's an amazing author. And so that part, it honestly didn't surprise me. It was just crazy to actually see how fast they moved, being part of the process, because it took a lot of us in there to, handle all that.
Yeah, it was a madhouse, all those books flying off the shelf.
Yeah, and it was, I guess, the afternoon around 2 or 3. He had actually walked by and he saw 2 books sitting out there, and he said, "Is that all that's left?" I was like, "Oh yeah, they were going like hotcakes." And he said, "Well, good. I'm just really, really glad." He was just like pleasantly surprised that there were only 2 books left, and those 2 were gone by the end of the day. So he didn't even have to take anything home with him. That was it was crazy how quick they went. But he was really happy about that, I think. And we were happy to be able to do that too. And people were so excited that they could actually go and buy his books. And he had on the schedule 1 opportunity for a book signing at 1:00, like after the speaker's panel. Yeah. Well, he got finished processing chickens and he said, "Hey, I'm going to go do a book signing right now." the line for his book signing, I mean, it took probably almost 2 hours to get through everybody that wanted their book signed the first round. And then after the speakers panel, he did the second book signing. People started lining up for that about 12:30.
And what's crazy is to be such a renowned person, he is so down to earth
he
and
really
friendly.
is. He really
I
is.
mean, what you see is what you get with him, and
Mhm.
he's got a heart of gold.
Yes.
And what was funny is whenever they didn't think his books were going to arrive on Friday, our good friend Cowboy Short, who has a bookstore in Pryor,
Yes.
had some of his books, brought all of them that he had, and sold out of those as well.
very
So
quickly.
there was a lot of Joel Salatin books that sold this weekend. Yeah, and then after that, we finally got a little bit of downtime, and we're able to get the girls and make it through the vendor booths.
Yeah.
The girls had been with a babysitter throughout that Cassie helped us get. They were actually with her last year and again this year. She usually comes up for a few hours each day whenever we're at our busiest times to watch them so that they don't just have to sit and be bored.
Yeah.
They get to go do around, and she's so sweet. She bought kites for them and some beads so they can make bracelets and stuff, and she's really great. We're really blessed to have her.
Yes, she's wonderful, and like she brought sidewalk chalk, so they were drawing on the sidewalk. What else did she like? He said the beads, the kites. I'll throw some pictures of that in at the end of all the stuff because she wasn't just, you know, doing all these things with them. She was sending me pictures through the whole day too. So even though he and I weren't together for most of the day because we were doing our separate things, I was able to like send him all these pictures of everything that Sarah had sent me, and it was really cool. And she made sure that they didn't get bored either. So that was really, really awesome.
Yeah, we were finally able to get around, take the girls, do some shopping, which they actually didn't spend that much this year. I was surprised. I mean, Izzy, I think, spent $5.
Yeah, $5.
And Abby was 7 or 12. I don't remember. She bought a little crocheted chicken thing and a turtle.
Oh yeah, and she bought a little ring because there was a little boutique trailer that was set up, and they had a ring in her size, and she was so excited because she's got little tiny fingers, so she really has a hard time finding stuff that actually fit her. And she went over there with Mazzy, and then she came back and she's like, can I please borrow some money? She's like, because I didn't bring mine in with me. And she said, they've got a ring and it fits me and it's the only one. So I handed her some money, and she went over there, and then she came back and she said, look how cute this is. And it was cute, but she was so excited.
Yes. So we got to do a little bit of shopping. We got some, it's a soda alternative. It's sweetened with honey.
Yes.
And that was really delicious. They let us sample all the different flavors. We bought some of that, and then we bought some beef sticks too that were really delicious.
And they're gluten-free, so I can eat them too.
Yeah, that's the other thing that's surprising, is being able to find stuff that Kimberly can have too. So that was really great. Yeah. So we got finished with all that, and then it was time for things to come to an end. And when you do that, you have to reverse everything you did on the first day. So we helped take down banners, take down the tent, put up chairs, all that good stuff. Got everything cleaned up. That way the place is ready for the next people. And then we got to hit the road. Yeah. So we got on the road. It's about 3.5 hours. And so we took off. I don't even remember what time it was, but I'm not sure. We got home at midnight last night. We did stop in Muskogee at Whataburger and get some supper. And then we stopped one other time for a bathroom break. And then we did have to stop and drop off the meat too. Yes. We dropped it off in our fridges at the daycare because some of it was still in primal cut, so we still have to cut it down a little bit more. And we're going to wrap it in. He wrapped everything in saran wrap and then butcher paper, and so we're probably going to do the same. He said that seems to work out best for him if you don't want to spend $1,200 on a chamber vacuum sealer. And so that's what he does with all his. So that's what we're going to do with the rest of it. Cut it down, break it down so it's ready to eat. Yes. And then we got home, and here we are now. Yeah. Got out this morning, got all the animals checked. Everything was great. My mom took care of stuff, so super excited about that. But overall, I would say this was the biggest and best expo yet, and a huge success, and we are thrilled to be a part of it, even though it was just a small part. So like I said, it's a lot of moving parts to make this thing happen, but we loved it. We hope y'all got to go to it. If you missed it, be sure to plan for next year. I wouldn't be surprised if someday they don't have to find a different venue because they are outgrowing this thing quickly. I mean, it's amazing. This time they had 5 different areas set up for speakers and demos. And like I said, it was full. And plus, for vendors, all that space was full too. There was very little space
Yeah.
left. I don't know, to be able to pack more people in there. I don't know how you would do it.
Yeah, it'd be
So
crazy.
I wouldn't be surprised if someday they don't have to find something a little bit bigger.
Yep. But it was great, and we are so glad we got to help with everything and just get to spend time with everybody, because I mean, that's one of the best things about for us going to Oklahoma, is getting to see all of our friends.
Yeah,
And
get to see all of our old friends, get to make new friends,
yes.
and I don't know, it just seems like the more we go, the closer we get with everybody, and it's great to have friends like that. It's amazing what YouTube has done for us, because if it hadn't been for that, we would not have all the friends we have today.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
So a huge thank you to Kevin and Rachel from Hidden Heights Farm and Sean and Brandy from Keeping It Dutch for hosting this thing, putting it on, and just coming up with the idea to have this.
Yeah.
And we're super thankful that they let us be a part of it as well, because it's a great experience and we cherish the friendships we made with everybody there.
Yes.
But I think we still got a few chores to do, so I think this is where we're going to call this one, and we'll catch you next time on Grounds Family Farm. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.